My dad slept with my sister. I will try to make this post as short as possible, but most likely it won't be. My sister and I, we have different dads. When she turned 18, my dad and her slept together. This was ongoing for many years, off and on. This is I'm not allowed to swear, but this is a really bad show. My sister and I are 10 years apart. My mum and dad grew up together. Before they got together, my mum was with another man. Let's call him Rich. My mother had 2 kids with him, my sister and my oldest brother. Rich, he was a terrible human being. He burned my brother's hand on top of the stove, and he threw him up against the wall when he was an infant. Luckily, my brother is alive today. I honestly don't know how Rich didn't get any jail time, but my mum had my older siblings taken away from her. She left Rich, and she got custody back. Moving the story along, my mum eventually got my dad, and he had me and my brother. 2 girls, 2 boys. When I was 8 years old, this is when I found out that my dad and my sister had slept together. My mum, she first noticed that my sister, she had a hickey on her neck. And from there, she happened to notice things and even catch things. But I'm not telling the story from my mum's point of view, only mine. Growing up, me and my brother were close, and we used to play around the house. One day, when my mum went to work, we eventually noticed my sister missing. We looked around the house and eventually asked Dad where she was. Walking in the room, my dad raged and screamed at us to get out. We were so scared that we ran. My sister was under the covers giving him a... He was sucking on his eggplant, let's just say that. My brother ended up telling my mum, and my dad denied it. He denied absolutely everything. And he whooped my brother. He took a break, and then he whooped him again. That night, my parents argued. We were scared, very scared of my dad growing up. Many times we called things. Many times my dad would tell us not to say anything because it would destroy our family. Many times our mother questioned us. Many times we would get verbally or physically abused for telling the truth. Many times my mom left and then she went back to him. It was horrible. No, it was traumatic. And even through all of this that my brother went through, me and him, we both loved our dad because he was our dad. My aunts and uncles, they both knew what was going on, and that just added fuel to the fire. They would sit me down, and I would cry, telling me how bad my dad was, saying that he was no good. My family, they would even be mean to me, simply because I looked like him, and I suffered some physical abuse too. Anyways, moving along. My mum went back to my dad, and we didn't help the situation either, since we would tell her that we missed him. When I was growing up, I really wanted my dad's attention. Somehow, I was a daddy's girl, but because my sis and him were having an affair, he always put her before me. Sometimes he would say things like, "We can have a daddy and daughter day," but it was just an excuse for us to hang out. Well, him to hang out with my sister. He'd buy me ice cream, but he wouldn't talk to me, only to her. For obvious reasons, my sister and I hated each other. One incident, my dad took me, my brother, and my sister to a hotel room. My parents were arguing over the situation, and it ended up in a high-speed chase. My dad grabbing us, trying to get away from my mom, because she was trying to fight them. In the hotel room, my dad and sister had intercourse in front of us. We were sitting by the window, very uncomfortable, and they were just under the covers trying not to make it noticeable, like we weren't stupid, like we weren't effing dumb. Another time I caught them when I was about 16 or 17 years old. My dad confronted me about what I had seen, and I told him exactly what I saw. This ended with him screaming in my face and threatening to slap the shit out of me. He told me that if I lie again, he would slap me. He called me a sneaky ass bitch and walked away. Fast forward to about 2018, and apparently everything has ceased and my dad built a house for my mum, etc. Long story short, same shit, different day. Now currently 28 years old, and around 2 weeks ago my mum texted me and told me that my nephew/brother, I'm not joking, yes, you heard me right, they had a baby together. It was caught. He then told my mum, and my sister denied everything, and my dad came clean. I picked up my nephew and I brought him to the house. This is all a jumbled mess at this point, so I'm sorry. My brain is just going crazy, like with all these memories, and this was the first time that I attempted to ever vent in my life. There was a lot left out, a lot of things I wanted to say, but that'll have to wait another time. And believe me, everything I said was true. I met my wife in 2009, and we tied the knot in 2013. She was 18 when we first crossed paths, while I was 29 at the time. Now she's 33, and I'm 44. Together we have 4 children, aged 13, 12, 9, and the little one is 5. Throughout our years together, she'd been a stay-at-home mom, never having to work a single day or handle any bills or anything like that. Over time, I noticed that she was engaging in flirtatious conversations with other men, and this happened on multiple occasions, but I never had any concrete suspicions of physical infidelity. However, things took a turn for the worse at the beginning of 2022. This was when I stumbled upon messages from a new guy who claimed to be enlisted in the army and was heading to boot camp. Despite her assurances that she had no intention of seeing him, come April 2022, she returned home from a weekend trip. At her friend's place, she had a hickey on her neck. It turned out the guy had taken leave after boot camp, and their plan was to rendezvous at her friend's house. We had a heated argument. She eventually got a restraining order against me. This resulted in my removal from our home. Subsequently, the guy left her friend's house to visit his father nearby. Following my arrest in front of our kids, she brought him back to our house. Yes, you heard it right, our house. And engaged in intimate encounters in our bed, the bed that I paid for. Once his leave was over, he returned to his base, and my wife failed to attend the permanent restraining order hearing. I never in my life would have thought that I would ever tell this story, but alas, here we are. I had been dating my girlfriend at the time for 2 years. She was 27. She cheated on me with her 28-year-old cousin. Yes, you heard it right. A cousin. This happened on a trip back to her foreign country. She admitted this after a very unnecessarily thorough investigation, that she had multiple sexual encounters with him, unprotected. She then came back home and had sex with me on the same day, unprotected. She had been in contact with him for about a month. They had been sexing, and they had been sending each other love messages, including notes. Since she's gotten back, neither of us has gotten tested for STDs. I haven't because I just found out. And if she didn't, that's because she's stupid and ignorant. She's an RN at a hospital, by the way. I found everything out on my own, and not once did she tell me the original truth.